years, and was mainly classed as the secretary, but I think she would do nearly everything that was ever needed to be done to keep the events up together. So very shortly going into motorcycles, we got a couple of Morgan freewheelers first, so they will come out. The first one being number 113, which is Anthony Quinn, which is the Morgan Super Sports, just heading down to the line now. And checking, yeah. So there he is, warming his tyres, just getting the earth off of them from any, because there's a grass paddock, any grass debris that's on the tyres, just cleaning it off. Now lining himself up on the white line, waiting for the green light, and the timekeepers are just coming out to have a quick look. And let's see what's happening. They're pushing him back a little bit, so obviously there's it looks like we have a car that has to have a rerun first, so the car will come down. It's one of the Allards, just making its way out to the paddock, number 199. This will be a double driven car, and that will go up now ahead of the motorcycle, so that all the car entry is finished before the motorcycle entry start. And number 999 is 199 is Jeff Pinch in the Allard K1. So 4.5 litre car this, just waiting for it to make it to the start line.
You won't get time to pan.
And a big squeal of tyres there as the Allard leaves the start line, around Wiz Corner, heading up towards Bunny's Leap. So it's a little bit sideways over Bunny's Leap by the looks of it, and heavily onto the brakes, into the gate, through the gate, into the lower S's. And keeping fairly tight to the bollards there, and keeping off the bluebells, which is quite nice as well. Nice to see them there. Heavy braking now to enter into Sawbench Corner. We're in Sawbench Corner now as another car leaves the line, which is number 1103, which is Luke Ashley in the Raw Striker. It's a motorcycle engine kit car. And we look across and we can see that the Allard is just now rounding Martini hairpin, and time should be coming through shortly. I believe it is 61.19 seconds. All the times I give you will not be actually official times, but they will be the times that are being recorded and sent through to me. As into Martini comes the Silver Striker, hard on the brakes, around the corner, number 1103, to record a time at 48.55. Meanwhile, down on the start line now is the Morgan, number 113. This is Anthony Quinn. This car will be running as the Morgan car class. This actually runs under the ACU regulations, which is the motorcycle regulations. So he's down here on the start line, and number 114, Alistair Rue, is waiting to join him. So we just have to alter the course slightly for the motorcycles, take some marker bollards out, as away from the start line goes number 113. Anthony Quinn. Number 114, Alistair Rue. Alistair, who works for Red Bull Racing, enjoys his sport at this level also. So you'll notice he's got a passenger with him. This is because he's running as a motorcycle entry, or motorcycle three-wheeler type entry, with the special class for the Morgan three-wheelers. And Alistair is away from the line. This is a 1220cc Morgan Aero. As he rounds Wiz corner, we look back to see what time Anthony Quinn done, just waiting for the time to come in. He's not quite reached the top of the hill yet. He's just now approaching Martini, and rounding Martini and crossing the finish line, where he's recorded a time of 56.93 seconds. Alistair Roux, meanwhile, on the hill, rounding Sawbench Hairpin, nice and tidy. Doesn't tuck it in too tight to the corner, so it keeps it settled as we get the first of the motorcycles coming into view. And the first of the motorcycles is, I believe, number 244, but just it could be on the hill at the moment. Number 7, which is Caden Rout. Caden won the motorcycle hill climb championship last year. And Simon Wilson's behind him. So the time's coming in. The first motorcycle was Patrick Evans, number 244, on a KTM, a 250cc KTM, and he scored a time of 56.92. No, I lied, he scored a time of 48.89, sorry. 48.89, so waiting for the time for number 7 to come in, Caden Rout. And that is 45.65. Meanwhile, on the hill, number 313, Simon Wilson with the Yamaha 350. As he reaches the top and rounds Martini Hairpin with a time of 52.02. Number 365, Anthony Isaac. Anthony on his 350 Velocet, one of the more historic machines here today, on the hill and heading towards the top. And it looks like Anthony may have had an issue and has not actually made it to the top, so just waiting to see what happens there. He's not scored a time on that run at the moment. As on the start line is number 398, Mick Lovelock. Mick riding his KTM, a 350 KTM, rounds Wiz corner. Gets the power down, going across the front of the house here, up over Bunny's Leap. As he crests Bunny's Leap now, onto the brakes, into the gate area. Nice and steady through the gate, into the lower S's, through the mid S's. As we look back towards the start line, and we see number 538, Cameron Williams on the Aprilia. 450 Aprilia down there on the start line. Obviously the engine capacity is rising as we go through here, and we wait for the time for Mick Lovelock, 398, and he's just crossed the finish line to record a time of 56.93. And number 538, Cameron Williams, now going through the S's. That's away from the line, number 547, Richard Thorne. Richard only been in motorcycle hill climbing for a few years, but his father been around hill climbing and motorsport for many years, as has his mother, both of whom have hill climbed here in various vehicles over the years, Westfields, Caterhams and Pilbeam racing cars. So number 398, Mick Lovelock, we got a time of 56.93, and Cameron Williams has crossed the finish line with a time of 45.19. As you watch Richard Thorne go around Sawbench, heading up towards Martini, and he rounds Martini and goes over the line with a time of 51.78. On the hill now, Reg Davis. Reg, apart from being one of the motorcyclists here, also one of the supporters of the working parties here at Wiscombe throughout the year. And on bike number 551, and Reg gets a time of 54.48. And Richard Peaty is on his way up the hill, just rounding Sawbench now. As into the gate we have Stephen Butler coming through. So Richard Peaty on his Husqvarna, now towards the top of the hill, over the line. Reg Davis scores a time of 54.48. Richard Peaty scores a time of 46.39. I nearly read out his number again then. As over the line at Martini now is number, let's wait for it, 555 I believe. Just waiting for the time to come through with a time of 48.05. So quite a good turnout of motorcycles here today, keep us entertained. And let's have a look. Yeah, rounding Martini now. Number 561, Mr. Peter Isaac. Peter being the Managing Director of Wiscombe Limited and the man who's in charge of all the people who come and look after the venue throughout the year. Peter puts a lot of effort in down here. It's nice to see him actually out on his old Velocette having a ride for a change. So Peter done a time of 58.41. Stephen Butler's time 48.05. Keith Haynes just at the top of the hill now, number 590 on his 450 KTM, a time of 45.26, and he will be followed by number 599 Dave Massam. Dave on his 500 Douglas. You don't see many Douglases out these days, but Dave just getting to the top of the hill now. Let's look for his time. Seems to have a long time for Dave. I'm not sure if he's got a mechanical issue. 64.84, so a wee bit slower than some of the others and around him. Now we have the ultra competitive, the man with number 1 on his bike, Tom Short. Tom with his 650 KTM has just gone up in 42.28, so quite a quick time there. Paul Jeffries is on the hill at present. Just having a look for Paul. As down to the line comes number 5, Peter Short. So the Short family very much here in contention today. So Tom Short done a 42.28. Paul Jeffrey a 43.08. Let's see what we get from Peter Short now, number 5. As off the line goes Jamie Mitchell. Jamie on his AMS. He's just cresting Bunny's Leap. Through the gate, put his foot down there just to see, keep yourself steadied, and through the top S's towards Sawbench Hairpin, moving rather rapidly I must say, and That Sawpench hairpin. As we look back to the start line, and we see Guy Ursel. Guy, another one of the regulars here. Again, on a KTM, seems to be the motorcycle to have these days for doing motorcycle speed hill climbing. And let's have a look at our times. Paul Jeffrey done a time of 43.08. Peter Short a time of 43.86. And Jamie Mitchell a time of 43.81. So at the moment, with a time of 42, bearing in mind this is practice only, a time of 42.28, Tom Short is still leading the way. And Chris Keats just about to leave the start, number 744, and away he goes. Across in front of the house here, part of the Keats family, very big motorcycle family from Wellington area. Chris through the gate into the S's, taking a fairly straight line through the S's there actually, so very quick. Up onto Sawpench hairpin. As we look back and see Josh Williams going up over Bunny's Leap. Hard onto the brakes, into the gate, through the gate, again a fairly straight line, not putting his feet down. And Tommy Hodges is away. He stopped the clock on 2.46 on the little start length to the first split, and Tommy's on the brakes through the gate, through the S's. Very quick time this is going to be. You can see him actually moving from side to side on the bike, trying to move the weight across to where he needs it. As up at the finish, we have number 763 just gone over the line with a time of 51.52. Chris Keats putting in a time of 46.38. Away from the line, number 10. This is Marcus Bisson. Marcus on his KTM. And he's through the gate already. As we start to see the motorcycle outfits lining up to bring up the rear of this batch. And away from the line goes number 826, Dave Norris. This is the bigger bikes now. This is the 790cc KTM. Dave's just approaching the gate. Through the gate. Into the S's. Through the S's as we hear that lovely sound of the Triumph Bonneville of Colin Dodge leave the line. This is an 850cc Triumph Bonneville. And he goes up over Bunny's Leap here. As we look back towards the finish line, and we see number 826, which is Dave Norris, go over the finish line in a time of 43.89. Meanwhile, Colin Dodge is, let's see where he is. He's on the hill there. It looks like we have a little bit of oil or something down near the start line that the marshals are dealing with. As number 829, Colin Dodge, gets to the top in 49.10 seconds. Number 871, Mark Williams on the 996 Honda, currently on the hill. Just going through the gate. So David Peake lines up down on the start line, number 873. David riding the 796cc KTM. He weaves his way up across the front of the house, up over bunnies, onto the brakes, through the gate. We look back towards Martini, and at Martini we have number 871 Mark Williams recording the time of 45.91 seconds. So we have a motorcycle sat on the start there now, number 881, which is Keith Hunt. This is a Notran Westlake, it says. I think it might be a Norton Westlake, really. Obviously Westlake Engineering, who used to build a lot of race engines in the old days. There's a motorcycle down at the start line which looks like it's having a little bit of an issue on the grass just prior to the start, so maybe that's going to be repaired down there. As number 881 Keith Hunt gets away, we look back and we see that David Peat scored a time of 45.85. Now the motorcycle outfits, we have 3 outfits lining up here at the moment. The first one being John and Isaac Warren, father and son. This is the Suzuki 1 litre Suzuki trike, and Isaac on the back. Rounds Wiz corner. We look back up into the hill and we see that number 881 Keith Hunt is just through the S's around Sawbench and heading towards the finish line. So Jonathan with that trike, Isaac moving from side to side on the back to get the traction up into Sawbench. As over the line number 881 Keith Hunt goes with a time of 52.48, as the Fosters, Simon and Jane Foster, get away on that lovely orange Honda CBR outfit, 969 the number, and they go through the gate. Jane really down behind the cowl to keep the airflow and hanging out over the side for the corners. Rather a brave thing to do. I'm not sure I could do this motorcycling. As we leave the line now with Kevin and Sarah Jewell. This is a Windle Kawasaki 997cc, and they've been competing for a number of years. They had a pink outfit before this, and they've gone green. As around the finish goes Simon and Jane Foster, and they have recorded a time of, let's wait for it to come through, 46.75. John and Isaac Warren a 46.68, so only a very small difference, less than a second difference between them there. As we wait for the time to come in for Kevin and Sarah Jewell before we break for lunch. The course car's on the hill to go up and retrieve the batch back. Kevin and Sarah up at Martini, Sarah hanging right off the side, around they go and over the finish line, and they score a time of 49.40 seconds. So that concludes our practice for this morning. The marshals will now come back for lunch. Could I ask anybody who's in the paddock that's going for lunch to let the marshals have priority? The event is running a little bit late from where we'd like it to be, so if we can get all the marshals fed and back to their posts promptly, obviously we can get a good start time. I'm just waiting for the confirmation from the official caravan as to what time we'll be restarting. As soon as I get that, I will let you know. The paddock is open for food, ice creams. There's a bar down here. There's lots of lovely things on the coffee stall. There's cakes, there's fudge, there's donuts and all sorts of things. So come on down and have a look. And as soon as I know what time we're restarting, I will let you know, and we will be recommencing this afternoon. Thank you all very much.
Attention paddock, as you heard from the commentators, we are now stopping for lunch. We really need to get the marshals their lunch and back on post as soon as possible. So if we could ask you to make 2 lines at the catering queue. So if we can ask you to make 2 lines at the catering queue, there will be one for the marshals and officials and one for everyone else. The caterers are very good at doing this. They will get through the queues very quickly, but they will be concentrating on the marshals and officials line to get back on post. Also, all competitors, we really need you to help us this afternoon. We're taking a long time to get you out of the paddock. If you are called for your batch, we need you at paddock exit straight away. It isn't our responsibility to keep calling and find you in the paddock. We need you to be at paddock exit when called. You can see the competitors around you leaving. There is really no excuse, so please can you be at paddock exit as soon as you're called. We're looking for the first batch of cars around 2 p.m. So for the first batch of cars, please make your way at paddock exit around 2 p.m. Ready for that first car on hill at 10 past 2. If you are not at paddock exit, we are likely to close the batch without you, and you may end up missing runs because we are looking to finish around 7 p.m. tonight if we carry on like we have this morning. So please make yourselves available at paddock exit as soon as you are called, ready to take your runs.
So just anybody who didn't hear the official notification then, the idea is to get the event back running just after 2 o'clock, so all the marshals will have been fed and have to get back to their post and everything checked to make sure it's all functioning, and we will then restart at just after 2 o'clock. The proposed time is 2:10, but as close to that as possible. So everybody, if you could, like I say, let the marshals have priority for lunch, that would be excellent. Thank you very much.
Okay, everyone, just a reminder, the marshals are coming now